Have you ever pinned all your hopes on something, just one thing, only to watch it all fall apart in an instant? Well, let's get into it, because today we're diving deep into the anxious and honestly super relatable inner world of Mabel Waring from Virginia Woolf's classic short story, The New Dress.
So meet Mabel. She's at this fancy party, and she's wearing a new yellow silk dress that she poured weeks of her life into making. This was supposed to be her big moment, her chance to finally feel confident, original. But the second she steps into that room, the whole dream just shatters. All right, so let's start with the thing that kicks off this whole crisis, the dress itself. What was supposed to be a source of confidence flips, and it immediately becomes the absolute center of all her anxiety. This quote right here, it nails that exact moment of collapse. Imagine it, all the planning, the excitement, this beautiful idea she had of herself gone. It's like the harsh lights of the party just completely exposed her, and in her own mind, her effort was a total embarrassing failure. And listen to the words she uses to describe something she made with her own hands. These are not words of simple disappointment. Look at them. Sordid, repulsive. It's not just that she doesn't like the dress anymore, she feels disgusted by it. She even twists her hope of looking nice into a shameful character flaw, this awful vanity. And that's really the heart of the conflict, isn't it? She tried so hard to be original, to do something new. But the moment she's around other people, that ambition just sours into that familiar, sinking feeling of being completely out of place, just foolish and hopelessly old-fashioned. Now, to really get what's happening with Mabel, you have to know how the story is being told. Virginia Woolf uses this amazing technique called stream of consciousness, which basically just drops us right into Mabel's racing, chaotic, and unfiltered thoughts. And this is the question that just echoes in her head all night. I mean, it sounds so simple, right? Just be yourself. But for Mabel, that is the most impossible thing in the world. Her idea of who herself even is so fragile she can't even grasp it.
This really shows you how her anxiety works. Her brain isn't moving in a straight line. It's jumping all over the place, from something happening at the party, to a memory from years ago, to her absolute deepest fears about herself. It's this nonstop, exhausting cycle of negative self-talk.
And then, right in the middle of all that mental noise, this really powerful image pops into her head. It seems to come out of nowhere, but it ends up defining her whole experience. This one little metaphor becomes the lens she sees everything through. Okay, so this fly in the saucer idea, it's not just a passing thought. It is the absolute central metaphor for the entire story. It's how Mabel genuinely understands her place in the world, and honestly, it's a pretty devastating way to see yourself. So let's really dig into this. When Mabel pictures herself as a fly, what does that actually look like? It's not just any fly. She has a very specific, kind of pathetic creature in mind. And in describing it, she reveals her deepest, most hidden self-image. And there it is, in her own words. It's not just a fly. It's a dowdy, decrepit, horribly dingy old one. Oof, the self-hatred is just pouring out here. She doesn't see herself as a person anymore. She sees herself as this sad, gross, insignificant insect. This really breaks down all the layers of that feeling. She looks around and sees other people as these beautiful dragonflies and butterflies just soaring around effortlessly. But her, no, she's the fly, trapped and struggling in the milk at the bottom of a saucer, her wings all sticky, totally unable to get out. It's such a powerful image of feeling socially and emotionally paralyzed. So, what happens when you feel this way about yourself and you have to, talk to people? Well, every single conversation, every little glance gets filtered through this distorted lens of her own insecurity. So on the surface, this is a perfectly nice thing to say, right? Another guest, Rochelle, comes over, looks at her dress, and gives her a compliment. But that's not what Mabel hears. Not at all. Just look at this. This is social anxiety in a nutshell. What was actually said was a simple compliment. What Mabel heard was mockery, insincerity, and pity. She's absolutely convinced that Rose is laughing at her on the inside, making fun of her sad little homemade dress. And she will obsess over the tiniest little things to prove to herself that she's right. She analyzes every word, every gesture, like a tiny pucker of the lips, and takes it all as proof that she's being judged. She's literally building a court case against herself with evidence that only she can see.
So by the end of the party, Mabel's just done. She's given up. The new dress, this grand symbol of her transformation, has totally failed. And so she does the only thing she can think to do: retreat back into the only person she knows how to be. And what's so fascinating here is that her deepest desire isn't actually to be fashionable. It's to escape the pressure of being an individual at all. She daydreams about wearing a uniform, about being Sister Somebody, anyone, so she wouldn't have to make these choices or express a self that she clearly hates. And this is the moment she just gives in. As she's leaving, she literally wraps herself up in her old cloak, something she's had for 20 years. It's her armor. It's a physical act of retreating into her old, familiar identity. And when she says to herself, right in the saucer, she's accepting it. She's accepting that she's the fly and there's no way out. This is her last thought as she escapes the party. It's just a raw cry against everything she just went through. The compliments, the small talk, the whole social song and dance. To her, it was all a painful, hollow lie. And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? Mabel's story is intense, for sure, but it really makes you think, how often are we trapped by our own internal stories, by our own private fly-in-the-saucer fears that keep us from seeing the world, and maybe even ourselves as we really are?